we've got to work out what the hell it means to be an Australian, because they left us in a bit of a limbo. We had just had COVID. Aussies are dobbing each other in. Yep. You know, that whole thing about what's fair income and not is out the door. We've lost all semblance of the Aussies that, you know, were on light horsemen or in the trenches or on the beaches of Gallipoli. And to make matters worse, we've done the leader of our country on 35% of the vote. He's just failed with the voice referendum, yet he's still ramming this thing through. And it's like, well, what is an Aussie? Who actually has my back? And I think that's why we're in a bit of a limbo right now in Australia. But I do have a lot of faith. I mean, I think we're much better positioned than the other Five Eyes countries.
I don't.
No?
I think America's much better positioned.
Why is that?
Because they have a conservative voice. They have balance.
They don't have...
It might be polarized, but it's balanced polarized.
Yeah. Right.
This country, and this is Canada with sunshine.
Yeah.
You know, we're that much closer to a UK riot situation than America is.
You reckon?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
think...
There are so many angry, I don't know, Mo, about the Western Sydney community. Yeah. But I reckon you go to the outer suburbs of Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, Melbourne, maybe, you're not getting, there's no sense of representation for a tradie, the working class Aussie, especially men, right? Men are demonized. I mean, you have to go away and live away for 20 years and come back. I mean, you might have that perspective. I came back to Australia and I just thought, this country hates men. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. This culture is the most anti-male culture I've ever seen. Like, it's disgusting. And men, sorry blokes, but, you know, we've lost the plot a bit. Mm-hmm. Like, we're all pretty wimpy.
Yep, we are.
And I don't know whether that's got to do with the testosterone levels. Jordan Peterson might know more about that.
Absolutely.
But,
it's in the water.
You know, it's in the water, it's in the food, it's in everything. Conspiracy theory.
And in the frog scale.
The element of truth in every conspiracy theory, perhaps. But it is definitely psychologically there. And it's a crisis, man, of massive, massive proportions. The rates of male suicide of men my age, it is unacceptable. And we don't even talk about it.
No.
You know, we sit there and we talk about every single women's issue there is under the sun until we're blue in the face. And we don't talk about this glaring 3,000 men a year taking their own lives. You have a damn sick culture when that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
There is something seriously wrong with this country.
Is it true?
And we don't talk about it.
There's not one domestic violence organisation for men. Isn't that true?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I do know that there's just massive injustice in family law against men. The presumption of innocence is at serious, serious risk. And we have to fix it. And men need to speak up in this country, but they're all terrified. We are that far from, I mean, you won't be able to speak up soon, right? It's going to get, I mean, it's bad enough for women who speak up for men like Bettina Arndt or Daisy Cousins or Sydney Watson or, you know, I mean, there's probably many other women that I can't think of that are probably doing a good job there too. But they get just hammered. And the radical feminist movement in this country is awful. Like, these people are horrible.
Yeah.
The mad effing witches. I mean, that mob online, there's some of the stuff, the way they post stuff and what they said about Bettina Arndt's conference because she wants to do a thing on you know, presumption of innocence. And it's like, you know, oh, we're going to take it down. We're going to have it moved from the venue. They had that done. You know, let's get together and shut it down. But it's just expletive, sweary, revolting mentality, like of just hideous hatred, misandry, vile, revolting. I wasn't a first wave or second wave feminist in the 80s to fight for that crap.
Yeah.
You know, I was supporting women's rights, but I would never. They are not the people that represent the sort of equality that I was fighting for as a naive 20-something. And I think we've got to do something about this stuff, because if men don't rise up and stand up and start to fight for their rights in the workplace, I mean, I know it's risky, but we're going to have to stick our neck out, blokes. Yeah. I mean, we can't keep going on like this. You are going to have to be the first guy at work that says...
The should be right attitude is, you know, Aussies should be right. They've always got this thing. You know, like you said with Canada, I think we've actually got it worse than Canada. I just look at policies. When you go to Canada, as bad as it is, at least they got Pierre. on the other side.
Pierre Polyev.
He's
Absolutely.
10 times better than Dutton.
10 times. Well, let's
times.
be fair to Peter Dutton for 1 second. I think he's trying, but that party has been infiltrated.
Yeah.
I was a member for like 5 minutes, and I saw it immediately.
Yeah.
Like it's an absolutely left-wing infiltrated party. I went to community. What do they call them? What are the suburban?
What do they call them? Branch
meeting.
Yeah, branch.
Went to one branch meeting. They spent the whole meeting talking about Liberal, not about Australia or Queensland or anything. It's about the rules of the Liberal Party. And there were all these young women from university-age women sitting there, like, talking about, we have to have better sexual harassment rules within the party. It's like,
But you stayed in the room,
sorry,
right?
the country's falling to bits.
You stayed in the room.
This was before I became enlightened, Chris.
Oh, okay.
I just come back from Australia, to Australia from 20 years away. I had to be a little bit cool.
Because this is what I want to make clear is if you're not in the room, you don't have a voice. When it goes for the Liberal Party, it goes to the Labor Party as well. There used to be a right wing of the... Any Santa Maria fans around? There used to be a right wing of the Labor Party. They left. Men left. And I would actually say, rather than men, or you can't have a say, and they're not talking, there's too much talking with men. They're not doing. And I actually don't think mad witches are revolting at all. They're effective. They work. They fundraise. They activate.
Okay.
They get things done. They post, they share, they generate content, they create apps, they fundraise hundreds of thousands of dollars for apps for like-minded businesses. They hire their friends. And this is the biggest strength the right has, is because they're capitalist, they have skills. Most of the left don't have skills. So they don't. I'm sorry, they generally don't. And
They have time.
They have time. They do have creativity, right? But on the right, what you can do is hire each other. And that's what the individualist right is what's torn itself apart, where everyone, unfortunately, is just looking at each other going, oh, how can I find my place in a sinking ship hierarchy? So I've got a huge respect for MFW, huge respect, because they continue to cancel, take scalps, and hang them on their wall and say, look who we scalped.
Yeah, we're not organised.
Yeah.
We're not organised.
No, we're not filthy. We're not willing to. They will get blood on their teeth and say, "Look at this," like a Native American tribe. Look at this scalp we
Head
took.
of Donald Trump in my hand.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
That's winning.
They show up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, the feminists. Again, I stacked this panel so that we could talk about immigration policy and values.
Immigration policy.
But can you define immigration? Versus
Immigration. Immigration. What did you see at the RNC? Mass deportations now. The debate on the right is no longer about immigration policy. This is about deportations now. What do we see the riots in the UK about? Deportations now. The debate is mass deportation. Immigration policy is where it is. Not about immigration policy. That's the goal with the right, to move that Overton window. There's a housing crisis in every single one of these Western countries debating about what the immigration policy is. Not about immigration. Not even net zero is now kind of centrist. Mass deportations now. You saw the signs.
Well, that's specifically for the people who have immigrated illegally across the border. I mean, what is it, 10 million or something along those lines in the U.S.? Yep. But I mean, that's that is. Let's confine what they're talking about to the wave of illegal immigration that has happened in the last.
There's about 130 people outside of Tony Burke's office, 24/7 sleeping there. There's probably about 70 in Melbourne right now. They are willfully overstayed their visa. Is that an illegal immigrant? Because that's where the debate is in Australia, where you're seeing mass protests, which are growing all the time. You're seeing hundreds of people camping out, holding protest because they've overstayed their visa and they demand a permanent visa.
Yeah, I was talking about the U.S. You said
I'm talking about Australia.
Yeah. But I thought you were just talking about the U.S. But
this is happening in Australia. This is happening in the UK. This is happening everywhere. This is not some far-off issue like the trans issue or something. This is here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's an enormously consequential issue in terms of who you let in, why you let them in, whether or not they can integrate, they want to integrate, whether or not they'll benefit the society that they're coming into. I mean, it's whether or not they can vote, even though they're not citizens. It's an enormous issue.
No, the debate isn't about any of that. It's purely numbers out. That's it. That is purely where for the right this is. It's not about integration or anything like that. If you've overstayed, out, Emirati style. You've got 30 days to get out. If you
100% for it.
Yep.
I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how is that different than what I was talking about?
It's not about integration. It's not about whether